Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Tuesday, October 26th, and we're here again bringing to you another live stream for the Spro Coffee channel. I'm Jay. Great to have you. Thanks for watching. I know it's a little bit early, but we're here running a little bit early because the World Barista Championship is happening right now in Milan, Italy. And when I looked at the schedule yesterday, and I was like, oh, after they announced the finalists, I was like, oh, we need to start a little bit earlier because if we were to start at 10 o'clock, we would be past the presentations and we would totally miss out. So now we're here and time to check it out. We just had Hugh Kelly and Andrea Allen Hugh Kelly from Australia. Andrea Allen from the United States just completed a few moments ago. And we're going to be waiting for the last competitor. And what they've been doing is that after the competitors have completed their performances, they have been interviewing them with previous competitors and their coaches. So in the last situation with Hugh Kelly from Australia, his boss Sasa Stesic, who is the former World Barista Champion, as well as Dale from England. Anyway, Dale's also a former World Barista Champion, and as well as his coach. And there's one more gentleman that was with us. One gentleman from Germany, from Greece. So, if you have any questions too, just feel free to drop them there. Michalis Dimitrikopoulos. He was the World Coffee and Good Spirit Champion in 2016. And placed second in the World Barista Championship in 2019, the last time we had our competition. So, also one trend that we've been seeing that's happened, at least with Hugh Kelly, and there's three of them that evidently are doing this. They're using this coffee called the Coffea Aegonioides. And basically this is a different type of varietal of coffee, very, like we talk about the Arabica Robusta. Eugenioides is also another branch of that, and then there's also Liberica. So for Hugh, he was using the Eugenioides made in Colombia as well as a Liberica made in Malaysia. Andrea is also using the Eugenioides, and they are well. Let's listen to what Andrea's doing because I see they've come back. So let's go to that now, and you guys can hear what they have to say.
February 23rd, 2020.
So literally before the world.
It was John's birthday. It was my birthday present to him.
Yeah, nice.
You know.
Here's a gift to you from me.
I go all out for birthdays. So,
yeah. So how was the last year and a half in preparation?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we run our business, Onyx Coffee, and so it's been crazy. I mean, I know everyone has had very similar experience, but we're trying to, through the last year and a half, trying to make the business still run, figure out how to buy coffees, figure out how to keep our team employed, figure out how to serve people safely, keep our team safe. I mean, it's just all of the things, and we've been working on a new project for 4 years and been building it for 2, and it opened September 1st. So we've been there, and so yeah, it was kind of like a surprise when I got the email in July saying that this was happening, and I was like, oh, no why not? I mean, I should also have a baby.
And you have a business and family, yeah, exactly. Incredible.
Yeah, but it's been great. I mean, we've been talking about what we might do if we ever made it here for a long time. So today is really like a culmination of basically every barista routine I've ever put together. And so it's like we just kind of wanted to do like a best of the best that we could do and just bring everything to this moment. So
the greatest hits.
Yeah, greatest
because you mentioned you've used Sarah Azul 8 times?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. The first time I ever had it was we roasted it for a U.S. barista competitor in 2013 who placed second, and we roasted we just had this little tiny bit, and there was 19 grams left over, and I just threw it in our Malcona K30 and pulled it, and it was like the greatest coffee I'd ever had. And we didn't even really have enough to like try it or cup it or brew it or anything. We just like saw a chance to put great coffee in a really talented barista's hands. And so from that moment, I've been like, wow, this coffee is incredible. And yeah, so I love it. It's my go-to for this moment, and it's awesome.
So how does it feel? So you had that experience so long ago
Yeah.
to be sharing that coffee here on finals day with these judges. Just what was the I mean, watching your performance was incredibly emotional, but what was the emotion you were feeling as you've handed that to the judges?
I'm just thrilled. I make this joke all the time, but we like work really, really hard on these like 12 drinks, and then maybe 12 people get to try them because it's not something that you're usually serving in the cafe. And so every year when we start preparing and we start you know getting into the groove of tasting that coffee again, it really just feels like, oh yeah, I remember you. Let's get to know each other again. And I mean, it really, I said when I handed it, it is like an old friend to me, and I just like was thrilled to share it. So
Has there been much variation in the particular processing methods you've served over the years, or has it always been fairly similar?
Oh yeah, you know, I almost always use a natural or something like that. And when we started using naturals way back, we were like the only person at the U.S. final competition using a natural, and it was kind of a
using a wash coffee these days.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was.
How the tables have turned.
I don't remember what year that was. 2016, 2015. But yeah, I mean, I just remember people being like, I can't believe you're using a natural. That's so wild. And I was like, I mean, it's good.
It's tasty.
Okay. Whatever.
I think I speak for all of us when I say we'd love to try some coffee if that's possible.
Yeah, let's do it.
Should we ask John some questions?
You should. He's really good. He loves getting asked questions.
I think
we'll grill you.
Andrea's had to talk all the way through this and give all the language for the judges. If you were to talk about this espresso just as, you know, a customer or as a roaster or as just part of that process, how would you describe it? You know, no score sheet to worry about.
I think I don't know. It's a binary shot to me. Like, I think most people, when they taste it, they're either not very happy with it or they love it. There's not a lot of play there. So, I don't know. I mean, it is, I mean, Eugenioides has such a unique flavor profile on its own. And so does Serra Azul in a way, but I think it was just interesting how well they mixed together right off the bat. I think that was sort of started as like, this would be really funny if this worked. And maybe the Eugenioides just add some sweetness and some structure to a very
like
bright
introducing
shot.
an old friend to a new friend.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like when you need that third person to keep the conversation going, right?
Hey, John.
Which is
That's
like
never
what I
happened.
always need.
That's never happened.
So,
Yeah, exactly. And that person gets up and leaves, and then you're like, you sit in silence and...
I have a question about the puck prep method.
Oh,
which
yeah.
you're both welcome to answer. Layering, WDT, distribution, tamp.
Yep.
Did you test pre-blending, post-blending? See much difference, or is it just to be more clear with how you're actually putting the two coffees together?
Yeah, so I mean, I started off just by blending it, and part of the goal is like Eugenioides, tons of sweetness, just like an incredible coffee. The Serra Azul tends to like be real acidic and like kind of sometimes, in my opinion, needs a little bit of structure, a little bit of balance. And so I blended it together to start with, but every single shot was completely different because those coffees, as you all know, are the sizes, the densities, all of the things are just completely different. And so, yeah, so we're like, oh, hey, let's just try it like this. And then it worked.
I should have been watching more closely. Did you have different grind sizes for the two coffees, or
Nope,
the
same grind size.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I like to keep things easy. I mean, I kind of, over the years, done all kinds of things, but I really like to do things up here that you would do in a cafe. Like, you could do everything I did here in a cafe. Like, the ingredients, everything. It's straightforward.
I totally agree, because the customers, they are drinking every day the same espresso, then they're trying with the milk. So if the baristas they are always changing the grind size, I think it's a disaster. So you have to take a decision to have the best, in general, points, let's say, in the competition. That's why it's difficult to change the grinder or stage and in your life. Imagine that if they are coming every day, the customers, and telling you one cappuccino and one espresso, so you have to change every time the grinder. It's impossible.
Yeah.
These cups as well. They're stunning.
Thanks. I'm gonna serve
So,
it for
Andrea,
you.
whilst you
Fun.
serve these, I just wanted to ask about
Thank you very much.
Of course.
the 3 words.
Yes.
You know, I think your performance
I'll come
was
back and get
really,
it.
really rooted in things that are kind of universal to all customers. You know, that can be interpreted in different ways.
You're good.
How?
Sorry.
Why those 3 words?
Wow, I don't know how to answer that. I mean, kindness is straightforward. I feel like that kindness is the thing that makes people become friends. It's the thing that lets people loosen up. It's the thing that is missing a lot, especially in this season of time where so many people are separated by either physical space or ideologies or just, you know, points of view, worldviews, all the things. It's just like a little kindness like could go a long way. So to start with kindness, trying to draw people in.
That is worth a round of applause. In our industry, I think we need to focus on memorable experiences, right? This is like a cup of sunshine. I've not actually seen the sunshine for about 4 days, but this is my vitamin D right here.
Sorry, I'll make one for you too. I'm not leaving you out. Also, this is the end right here. This is the last one.
Wow. Until next year.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, so then flavor is just, you know, all of the like wonderful things that this coffee is and all of the things that you can experience in coffee. And I think, you know, you kind of have to like open the door for someone to kind of trust you to like branch out and like try something like this. And if you're not prepared for a really great flavor experience, I think it's hard to have one. So, you know, just starting nice and soft and then going into like an incredible flavor experience and then touch is just like, I mean, as weird as it is in this season, like I actually wanted to physically touch the judges. And so it's like, I mean, that's when you know you're like really becoming a friend with someone, like hug them or, you know, something like that. And so I obviously can't hug them. I mean, I guess I could have, that would have been really funny. But, you know, just thinking like, how can I show an act of service, like a little bit of friendship, a little bit of kindness. And so, yeah, those are the words we came up with.
I think your flavor notes for this coffee are very, very clear as well. It's like,
Thanks.
at the same time, very bright and vibrant, but also very delicate and soft, which
Thanks.
I haven't tasted in many coffees. And the interesting one on the boards is a hint of salt.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not salty, but, you know, perfectly seasoned food should be just that point below being perceivable, acceptable, and yeah, really elevates it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Michaelis, did you like the
Allow
coffee?
me.
I like it a lot, and I think that you're describing all the flavors very, very well.
Yeah, of course.
It's
Let it
really
cool. Let it
enjoyable.
run cool.
You are the roaster, right?
I used to be, and then I moved to green buying. Now I don't know that I do anything.
But
well,
you're
but,
doing the quality control, right?
Yes.
From
Yeah.
I
Let it
tried
cool
your
just a little
coffees
bit more.
and
It's really good.
are really
It's a little
nice.
cooler.
Thank you.
So, did you took the decision to make the same roast profile for all the stages, milk and espresso? Not.
Yeah, so we
You're the
we
boss.
changed. Yeah, we changed the degree of roast and a little bit of development for the milk course, and we tried about 4 different profiles, or at least settled on 4 different ones that we brought here to sort of decide how they were going to react with the water and how long it had degassed and just the life of the coffee in general. You know, as you travel with coffee too, it just, whether it's in my mind or not, it always changes on the plane or something happens. And so we wanted to kind of be prepared and sort of see, but we ended up settling on the same ones from our lab. So we were excited to kind of like, outside of a few note modifications, everything basically stayed the same. And the whole goal was sort of to have a, I don't know, like a coffee routine that wasn't about coffee. So
That was one of my notes.
It was how little can we say about the coffee and still formulate a routine.
I think it was like very clear the quality of coffee is high, but there was so much going on around that that really adds to the experience. So I think we should talk about the signature drink and the experience around the signature drink.
Let's do it. Okay.
I love it. It's incredible.
This part is like a secret, right?
Yeah, we can see the notes. You've kind of touched upon it, and I think the answer is kind of evident with the world, but was there a particular moment that inspired the approach to the signature drink, or was it just a general filter down of everything that's happened in the last few years?
I don't know. Coach.
Yeah, I think, we've just seen a lot of turmoil in the world and hospitality in general. And also, I think, competition is kind of this like microcosm of all of that, right? It's a very tense time. It's obviously competitive, but you're trying to do something for the industry at the same time. So it's kind of this perfect scenario.
We're watching live commentary from the World Barista Championship.
I think specialty has
This
come
is
along
Jonathan
enough now that,
Allen, who is Andrea Allen's coach as well as
a
husband.
90 or a 90.25 is a little bit silly. I think almost we can take it for granted that all these coffees are great, and so it's like, that's great, let's make that the standard. We've all achieved that. We don't have the little man complex we used to in coffee, right? We're all professionals and good, and so now it's like, okay, well then what's next? Because if we keep having to put out pseudoscience and talk about coffees like they're something new every time, like every year, right? We just end up regurgitating the same, performance. So
I think
I probably
one
just
thing-
made a lot of enemies. But,
One thing I really like about this year is if ever we were moving towards a formula towards success, we've moved completely away from it. Yeah, completely. Every routine is totally different. All the coffees are very different. The way of presenting is very different.
And Dale, I think that we have a question there.
Perfect.
Yes, we have a question from the viewers online. So if you have more questions for Andrea, please put them in the chat box, and maybe I will ask it to Andrea in person. So Andrea,
this is
two persons,
Bart
a little bit
from,
the same question, but one person
Ireland.
is,
He's one of
starting
the
with
MCs and
Andrea.
heads of the
So
W
that's great.
World Coffee
Do you
Events.
think we are going to see more competitors using the Uginoides in the upcoming years, and why? And then the second person was asking, did you ever thought it was a risk using that variety?
Using Uginoides, yeah. Yeah, I think that we'll keep seeing it being used. It's a fantastic coffee, and the team at Finca Immaculata does like a really, really good job with everything that they do there and all of their coffees. So I don't see any reason why people wouldn't continue to use it. It tastes great, it performs good. One of the things I love about it is that you can prepare it all different ways, and it is very, very similar like every time, which in competition is amazing, because as you get all these wild fermentations going on, like and even my own experience with Sarah Azul has been like, there's like these shots that are amazing, and then there's other shots that are like not as like, right where I want them to be, but like the Uginoides is a really incredible stabilizing coffee. Was it a risk? Maybe so, but I think that our coffee community is like ready to taste and try all different kinds of things, and I think several people are using it here in the finals and over at Brewers. It's just gonna, in a really fun way, it's just gonna become like another one of our old friends.
Again,
here
it
in
breaks the mold
competition.
of lots of the same variety
Yeah.
being here.
Just as a really experienced competitor, and you had this dream to make it all the way to finals day, but you've had lots of experiences where you didn't quite, get the chance to finish at the US finals or get the trophy or whatever. And we've seen 38 incredible competitors over the past few days, and not all of them have had this opportunity.
Yeah.
So what would you want to share with the other competitors, as well as all the other baristas and all the other competitions that have happened in the last year or two, or will happen in the year to come?
Yeah.
This is your stage, so what would you want to share with them?
Wow, what a question. I mean, I would just say be yourself. I think when folks start off competing, you watch this day, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I could never do that. I remember watching Pete Licata and Stefanos and just being like, oh my gosh, I could never do a routine like that. And I think it's just one of those things like, well, I mean, you got to get started and get some experience. So I would just say, like, be yourself and just like make great coffees and try to serve people well. I mean, that's not necessarily great advice, but I think
But it's at the heart of what we do, right? This
Yeah.
is just one version of a barista.
yes.
But that hospitality and that service and tasting coffee and working with coffee, working with customers.
Yeah.
I think something.
Asking
and I
the
may
question
be
was
wrong,
Dale
that
Harris,
stood out
the
for me.
former
I would
World
expect
Barista
you to spend a
Champion.
lot of time helping others and perhaps judging, because it felt like the routine was designed to make the judges comfortable and
Yeah.
have a good time. It wasn't about, hey, I'm a great barista, here's an amazing coffee, you must
Yeah.
enjoy this. It was more, it very much felt like this, you were making the judges comfortable, very considerate of what.
And speaking now is Dan
Yeah,
Fellows.
thanks.
from
I've
the
never
United Kingdom.
judged. I would love to judge someday, but I can only imagine what it's like to be on the other side and like be trying to write everything down and hear everything and like make eye contact and like do the right stirs and all the so I think our goal when we make these routines is like, how can we make it as easy as possible for the judges to just like enjoy the incredible world-class coffees that we're bringing, because it's like that's what it's all about. And so I would never want a judge to feel like they did something wrong or like there was like a really hard instruction to follow or so I'm like, hey, I'll just do everything I possibly can do, and their job is to drink coffee. That's kind of our like thing we say in our cafe is like the customer's job is to come in and like get a coffee and enjoy it, and that's it. So like anything that gets in the way of that, like we try to just get rid of that. And I think that same mentality comes here. It's like should be easy to sit over there and just like enjoy and like just be a part of the moment.
Well, I'm very at peace. I could stay here all day, to be
Oh,
honest.
great.
Unfortunately, I don't think we can stay all day. We might want to take this opportunity to thank anyone you'd like to thank.
As you can see in the background, you see
I've
Emi
done this every day,
Fukahori
but,
from
like, I get to be up here,
Switzerland
but there's
and
some
Mame Coffee Shop
I mean,
preparing her around.
amazing
Typically,
and he, like,
while
had
the competitor,
everything that
the
we
previous
do
competitor is tearing her stuff down, and in this case talking,
and really stressful
there's
and sometimes really terrible.
the next competitor
But
is
there's-
setting up
so
her
thank you
station.
for always supporting me and accepting me.
You have to.
Yeah, but I mean, I have my whole team at Onyx. I have a really great team here, and then at home, folks are like messaging me and like taking care of cafes and taking care of parts of my job, and then our family is taking care of our kids, and so I can't, anybody up here has a whole like army of folks behind them. So thanks to all of y'all out there. Hopefully you know who you are. So
Amazing. Well, I think we're about ready to move on, I'm sad to say, but also excited to
Bye.
say. So thank you
very
very
much.
much, Andrea. Big round of applause for the Barista Champion of the United States, Andrea Allen.
Yes, it's true. We're almost ready for the next final.
All right, that's good. That's good. So this is Bart's again. He's going to talk about the different, what do you call it? The different, sponsors and whatever's happening here. So if you're just joining us, we're actually watching the World Barista Championship live from Milan, Italy, and we started the live stream an hour early today because we're just going to be able to catch the very last competitor, who is Emi Fukahori from Switzerland. And Emi's a longtime barista. I've known Emi for many years, and really great person and great barista, and I'm really glad to see that she's up here again. She's won a couple of the championships in the past. Not the Barista Championship, I think. What did she win? The World Cup Tasters or something like that? If you have any questions about the competition, just drop in the comments here. We're going to be answering them and see if we can address and hopefully give you some insight into what's actually happening during the performance as they're going, both from the perspective of the competitor as well as the judges. So here we are. We've got I don't know who this sponsor is. I thought this is at the outset of this, I thought this was about the, oh, maybe it's something else now. Because I thought it was a Simonelli ad, but now, well, it's Tracy Allen in that spot there. Oh, water. Okay. So these are the different sponsors that are happening, that are spent money to give to to have their names associated with the competition, and yeah, they make it happen. So if you have any questions, drop them down below. Today we're drinking the, what are we drinking? The Hellstar Desarcero, which is a really lovely coffee, of course, and let's see here. Let me show you what we're drinking here today. This is a red honey coffee, one of my favorites, with Ricardo Parantes, and there he is here, both on the cover as well as in a picture walking the farm. As you notice, the shirts are the same because they were taken on the same day, of course. And this is just a wonderful coffee, red honey processed from their Finca Santa Lucia over in the kind of Central Valley of Costa Rica. Where are we going now? Are we still okay? We're still in the. We're still doing with some of these guys. So, any questions you have? We're brewing the coffee. We did it in the. How do we do this? We did it in the Avid Clever. So, real simple process. Again, I like the Avid Clever really for most of my drinking because it's just simple. Really, you just put it, add the filter, add the coffee, add the water, wait, and then drop the Avid on top of your cup and let it pour in. And I don't have to tend to it too much, and I just get to drink pleasant coffee. And really, for me nowadays, especially when I'm at work or at home or whatever, coffee really is more about enjoyment and pleasure. I just want to be able to have coffee and drink it and enjoy it. I don't want to have to spend too much time fussing over it. So I find that that's probably the best way to do it. And let's hide that. Somehow I feel like it's a bit early, All right, just getting some stuff ready for you. So yeah, here we are. Let me drop that on here so you can see a little bit more of it. Oops. So here we are with another sponsor video. Looks like La Marzocco espresso machines. I don't know if it's La Marzocco. I don't know if it's a La Marzocco. Oh, it's a Malkonig. I'm guessing it's Malkonig because it's got that cup with the Malkonig logo on it. Nice latte art. Oh yeah, the king of grinders. Now here's more about the mug. So the competition's starting up, and it should be quite interesting today. So what they've told me so far, some of the other people that are watching the competition who are mostly in Australia and that part of the world that have been watching it most of their day, where for them it's getting extremely late, or very late, not that late. It's probably only 10:30 there, so it's not terrible. But it's late. It's getting late there, where here we're just starting out, so we've missed most of what's happening. And there's a particular type of coffee called the C. eugenioides, which stands for coffea. So eugenioides and robusta coffees are two different varietals that are supposedly the parental, or the two varietals that hybridize together to create the Arabica. And so Sasa Stesic from Australia has been, really exploring more with the eugenioides at his farms or with his farmers in Colombia. And he's been pushing that. And eugenioides has these really kind of softer, fruitier, kind of banana kind of flavors to them. Really unique, really different. And so that's kind of the latest trend over the last year or 2 years, really the last 2 years, because suddenly here in the finals now, 3 of the 6 finalists are using Eugenioids coffee as either their main coffee in a single origin format, or they're using it as part of a blend. So it should be interesting to see. You always see these kind of trends every few years where different things start to take over. For example, for the last few years, we've seen a lot of people talking about different types of processing, meaning the anaerobic, the low oxygen type fermentation, or things like champagne fermentation where they're using champagne yeast to ferment the coffee. A lot of those things have taken the interest of competition baristas. And a lot of that's also been started by Sasa. Sasa was really a big proponent of anaerobic and these carbonic maceration kind of stuff, and so people kind of followed along with him. And I think with the Eugenioids, he's also been kind of pushing that the last couple of years. So now a lot of people are like, oh, we have to have this, and it's really the greatest thing. As with anything, someone else in the comments had asked earlier today that, about whether or not it's a good coffee, or how they. So one of the things that Hugh Kelly was using with his Eugenioids was a Liberica coffee, which is another varietal, or I guess genus of coffee. And Liberica is a very unique coffee that I'm very familiar with because, the Philippines has grown Liberica as a big crop for many, many decades now. So when you go to the Philippines and you go to a lot of these places, especially the older school coffee places, they're serving what's called Kaping Barako. And Kaping Barako is the Liberica. It's typically lowland grown. So it's grown in like the regions in the Philippines called Batangas, which is kind of low lying, less than 1,000 meters. And it can be a very good coffee. And someone's asking, well, are these good? Or had mentioned that the only Liberica that he had in Indonesia was terrible. And I was like, well, that's true because but however, having bad coffee, let's say you have a bad Liberica or one that you don't like, or bad Robusto, you can even have bad Arabica. It's just a matter of how that coffee was cultivated and processed. And it's really not, they're going to keep playing these. These are boring. I'm going to get rid of those. Just wait for it to come back. And it's really a matter of finding coffee that's quality produced, meaning that, regardless of the type of coffee it is, in order to get really great results, you really have to take your time with the coffee, with proper cultivation, with proper pruning, with proper everything along the way has to be really done well. And that's something that takes time, and only certain types of farmers can really do. And so a lot of people want to dismiss, like, let's say that, I've had terrible Liberica, or I've had terrible Robusta. But they won't say that, and they'll kind of dismiss the category completely, but they won't do that with this Arabica because they've had good Arabica. There are really great examples of Liberica and Robusta out there, as well as, I'm sure, Eugenioids. However, Eugenioids isn't really well cultivated. It's still a very, 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 very tiny percentage of the coffee production in the world. So you're not going to find much about that out there. But I am curious to see if Ona is going to sell their Eugenioids. I'd be just kind of curious to try it, All right, we're just waiting for them to get ready. So what's typically happening right now is, we had this time with Andrea to talk about whatever she was talking about, all about her presentation, ask questions about it. And that's great. That's a really great to have insight into the competitor. And now we're still waiting, even though we saw Emi in the background pretty much ready to go. Part of this is because we're waiting for the judges to finish their deliberations. So what's happening behind the scenes? Once the competitor has finished, the 6 judges will then adjourn to their judges' chambers, and they will then deliberate their scoring. So what we do is we sit in the back, and the head judge will review the scores of all the competitors, of all the judges, for each of the scoring categories. And what we're looking for as a head judge is not necessarily consistency and uniformity, but consistency with the experience, right? So as a head judge, you're actually, so if you're not familiar, on a judging panel, there's a technical judge that is watching the technical aspects of it. And,
On the
I
stage
think we'll
of
come
the
back. I'll talk more about this in a bit. We're going to go back to
Barista
this.
Championships. Woohoo!
This is Bart again from Ireland.
Are you ready for the last finalist of the day? Oh, one person is. The others, are we ready for the last competitor of the day? Oh, there we go. Let me introduce to you, representing Switzerland, Emi Fukahori.
Emi.
Representing Switzerland, Emi Fukahori. So, Emi, when you're ready, wow the judges. Have fun.
Thank you. Are you guys ready, judges? Great. Okay. Can I have my music, please? Thanks. Ready? Good. All right.
Oh, I love the shoes. I love the shoes, Emi.
Can I have it started again? Sorry.
So the sensory judge that you see in the background is Michael McCauley from France. He's an American based in France now.
Ah. Sorry. I didn't hear. Oh, well, let's start.
Competitors always want to make
Hi.
sure their things are well done.
Mycelium. Yes, mycelium. When I heard this word for the first time, I was fascinated. Mycelium is a root of fungus that connects all the plants together. In front of you, you have an example of this. This network allows plants to exchange information. So yes, they can talk. But what do they talk about? Hey friends, a bug is attacking me, so you should protect yourself. Not only they talk, they also exchange food. Hey friends, a tall tree, I did the photosynthesis. Would you like some sugar? Hey friends, I'm a grass, I can exchange nutrients. Can we trade? This March in Panama, I've met an inspiring producer who takes his concept into practice. Jose Manuel Gallardo, known as Pocho. Pocho has been studying for 14 years at his farm Finca Nuguo in order to figure out which plants works the best for his finca trees. He has inga trees at his farm doing photosynthesis and giving sugar to the coffee plants. He has dandelion grasses extracting nitrogen and phosphorus in exchange of sugar to the coffees. Judges, please turn the page of the booklet from the left to the right. And this is Finca Nuguo. Yes, let me help you. This way. This is so green because it's in the National Rainforest Reserve. Judges, can you find geisha trees inside? Have you found all of them? There's 6.
The official espresso machine is the Nova Simonelli Black
Today,
Eagle.
judges, I'm serving espresso, then milk drink, then signature drink. This coffee is a celebration of synergy between Pocho and nature. your experience of espresso is in 4 steps. First aroma, then 3 sips. Please write down your aroma,
Aroma and 3 sips.
jasmine and pineapple.
Jasmine and pineapple. So one of the things that the competitor can do is tell the judges
Your
how
first sip,
to.
it will be papaya, then guava, elegant citric acidity, and syrupy mouthfeel.
She can tell them how to taste, and then also she wants to describe
And your
what.
second sip, the flavors and acidity changes. Acidity is tartaric, and the flavors of red grapes and strawberry. The mouthfeel becomes smoother.
So she's telling them what they're tasting because
And your last sip, it will be rum, hint of vanilla, rounder mouthfeel, and very long-lasting aftertaste of rum raisin.
so the more accurate the flavor descriptions, the better quality that score. And on the score, the sensory score sheet, there accuracy of flavor descriptions has a multiplier.
Once I view your espresso, judges, please evaluate the crema and wait for my instruction.
So the nice thing is that Emi's given really detailed flavor notes for a first sip, second sip, and then the finish.
And in front of your spoons, there is a glass, and this is for your spoon after use.
And if you can, if she can accurately describe what you taste, then you're going to want to give her a higher number of points. The scoring is based on a
Just for
scale
the
of
evaluation of the crema. Thank you.
a scale of 0 to 6. She said about the crema, there is the appearance of crema. Crema must be.
Okay, judges, please remove your mask and take a spoon and stir 3 times, and then please evaluate the aromas only.
So she talked about the crema. They looked at the crema, made sure that there's no black holes, no black showing in the holes in the crema. Then 3 stirs, and then aroma evaluation. Trent Rawlings, one of the judges, a former American judge, but
Let's
now
go
based
for
elsewhere.
first sip. Enjoy tropical notes.
So Emi's slowly building on everything that that the judges are supposed to be experiencing. One of the difficulties of being competitors that there's so much information you want to convey. How do you do it in a way that doesn't necessarily slow you
Let's
down?
go for a second sip. Enjoy the change of flavors and acidities.
So she's trying to pace them through the tasting to give them time to taste as well as to take notes. And that's an important thing because a lot of times some competitors will give a lot of detail. And as a judge, you're trying to take the notes, trying to pay attention, trying to get
And finally, enjoy a very long-lasting aftertaste and the third sip. Go ahead.
and trying to get all the details in one. Here, Emi's trying to pace it out so that the judges can more easily and readily evaluate their experience. And as you can see, she's also spreading out what she's doing and timing it so that she can get all of the things that she needs to do, you know, grinding the coffee, cleaning the station, putting them into the portafilters, distributing them, tamping them, and getting them prepared to pull the shots, all while maintaining a good pace and a good dissemination, a good rate of dissemination of details and information. Which I think so far she's done very, very well. So talk about the scoring.
All right, judges, let's move on to the milk drink. Following the mycelium concept, Pocho has planted many fruit trees, such as mango, coconuts, peach, and guava. They enrich the soil and exchange nutrients with his green tip and bronze tip geishas. To marry this coffee beautifully, I chose a milk from Switzerland, Zurich, with a 4% of fat content. I'm steaming slightly cooler also to highlight flavor notes. Your taste experience, judges, it will be in 3 sips. Please write down. You will have
Notice the
vanilla.
black cups. Vanilla.
And caramel, creamy mouthfeel. Then your second sip becomes rum raisin. And the third sip, it will be a very long-lasting aftertaste and also flavor of bay leaf.
Bay leaf, that sounds interesting. So, and if you notice, she was pulling that black cup, and she did that in the previous round for the espresso drinks. Those are...
And this time, judges, once I serve you a milk drink, please evaluate the visual. Then take the spoon, mix the crema very well, and then start enjoying the drink.
So those in the black cups
go
are
to the next place of your booklet, please. Thank you very much.
Those are the what do you call it? The shots for her signature beverage will be
Also
next.
picked only ripe cherries and place them in a tank with the lid closed for 5 days. During the fermentation, the juice comes out from the cherries, giving rummy notes to this coffee. Enjoy, please mix. Thank you. After the fermentation, he placed them on the African bed in order to dry them extremely slowly for 1 month. After drying, he also rested the coffees for another 2 months. Please mix well. Thank you. And this slow drying and resting gives a beautiful layers of flavors to this coffee, making the coffee beans extremely dense.
If you're just joining us, this is Emi Fukahori
Yep,
from
please
Switzerland.
Enjoy.
She's the last finalist for
Thank you
today's
already,
competition.
Michael. Right. So dense beans means difficult to roast. So my roaster Mathieu, he had to apply a soaking technique at the beginning of the roast in order to roast it evenly from inside to outside. Michael, please mix.
So
well
just
with
really
the other spoon
simple
and have a sip 3 times. Thank you
milk
very much.
pouring. One thing that misnomer, we're just looking for quality of texture. So that was really nice, smooth, glossy sheen, velvety kind of texture with good contrast. We don't have to have really intricate latte art in this competition. That's not really what it's about. It's really about the quality of the milk foam and the contrast between the milk and the foam, right? I mean, the milk and the coffee, the foam in the coffee, right? The white and the dark brown. And like I would say, Michael's was very good, very good. And so a little bit about the scoring. We do the scoring on a system of 0 to 6. And basically we use a lot of descriptions for that. So 0 is unacceptable, 1 is acceptable, 2 is average, 3 is good, 4 very
All right,
good,
judges, please turn to the next page of the booklet.
5 is excellent, and 6 is outstanding.
All right? Okay, let me help you.
So based on that, I would say it would be 4
Okay,
very
for
good.
my signature drink, I wanted to celebrate this beautiful coffee and mycelium. So I took 3 ingredients from his farm, Finca Nuguo, and I have it all here together. So first ingredient is a fermented mango. I place the mango in jar with water and white sugar to ferment for 10 days at room temperature. Together with my coffee, it would create the new note of banana. And here I have 4 shots of espresso already.
So
and
fermented mango and make
add
banana.
40 grams in this whipper. So my second ingredient is coconut water reduction. I froze coconut water for 1 day and defrosted for another day. By doing so, I could reduce it down to 50% and concentrate the sweetness. Together with my coffee, today it would taste like pear in a new note.
I wonder why it has that color.
My last ingredient is something a little bit special. So I got inspired by mycelium, the threads of fungus. So I grow koji on my green coffee. Koji is a type of fungus that is used to ferment grains. Together with my coffee, when I grow it on my green coffee, it would make it tender, and today it would make a new note of blood orange. 40 grams, the brewed Gina, 8 hours chilled. I add this. To make your drink cool today and also give a creamy texture. I'm going to inject a nitrogen. And to stabilize, I would give a shake of 10 times. Your taste experience today will be in 4 steps. First taste, first aroma, excuse me, and 3 sips. Please write down. Aroma of banana. The first sip, it will be banana, papaya, vanilla, creamy mouthfeel. It's like banana shake. And before having a second sip, give a nice swirl to the glass. And it will change into Malik this time, with a note of pear and kiwi. And your last sip, my favorite, it's coming from koji, paired with my coffee. It's going to be very sweet, note of blood orange. It's a cool drink. And I wish I could drink it with you guys. When I serve you the drink, please wait for me. Please wait for me. Please wait for me, Michael. Please wait for me. The encounter with Potro made me realize once again that the coffee is a true gift. We wish we could control everything, but in fact it's rather a collaboration between producers and nature. I'm very happy that I could share this with you today. I'm really touched. Thank you very much. I would like you to enjoy starting now. Thank you, and time.
All right, 1443. Emi Fukahori from Switzerland. An excellent performance. Presentation, really smooth, really clean.
Time for Emi
And
Fukahori from Switzerland.
really, really nicely done. And we're going to be waiting for Emi to come and speak to the... They've been doing these this session after the competitors' performances about doing their talking and talking to the competitor about their presentation. So we're going to listen on that when we finally come back. And that was Emi Fukahori. Really, really well done. 1443. And why that's significant is because the competitors have 15 minutes to give their presentation. And so in that 15 minutes, they must serve the 4 sensory judges 3 flights of drinks. So they're making 12 drinks total. And one of the nice things about Emi's presentation is that as she was making the espresso and the milk beverages, she was using the third group head on the machine to pull another double shot, a third double shot, which after that she has 2 double shots, and now she has her 4 shots for her signature beverage. And that really saved her a bit of time, you know. So she was able to take more time to speak with the judges, to be more deliberate, to be slower, and still make the same amount of beverages and deliver it with, 18 seconds to spare. So that's really, really well done. Really well done, Emi. And what I really liked about how she handled her performance is that she really had a good pacing. So, and she was very deliberate in that this is what I'm going to do. These are the flavor notes you're going to experience. And you're going to take the first sip and you're going to have this taste. You're going to have the second sip, have this taste. You're going to have this on the finish, which really is a good way to handle it as a competitor, because the judges are going to be looking for those things. And if you're able to guide them step by step by step, and you're able to provide exactly what you say, wow, the points that you can get, that's really where the reward is. As a judge, we're looking for accuracy in the experience, right? So we're having an experience, and to be honest with you, each of the 4 judges is having their own individual experience. We're sharing that experience collectively. However, each of the individual judges may have a very different experience depending on the actual drink placed in front of them, right? So even though it looks like the same beverage, especially for the espresso and the milk, because they're two separate shots, they could be two very different drinks. And so each of the judges may have a different experience. Now, which goes back to what I was saying during the competition about the head judge overseeing the deliberation. And so what happens is that each judge does their own thing, tastes their own coffees. The head judge is also tasting the beverages of the sensory judges after they've done their initial taste. So, for example, let's say in the milk round, Michael McCauley's being served his milk beverage. He's going to look and see about how does the visual of the crema look, how does the visual of the milk beverage look, the foam. He's going to taste it, stir a little bit, taste it, evaluate that, and then the head judge is going to come in, grab that cup, have a taste of it, and then know in his mind or her mind, this is generally the area that the competitor, the judge should be. When deliberation happens now, like for example, at this moment, now that Emi's done, the judges are going back to their judges' chambers and they're going to be discussing what happened and what they got. And so the head judge will compile all of the raw scores and then look at them. And then, so that judge at tasting will have this idea that, okay, so this drink is a 4. And he's going to be looking for that judge to have a score somewhere around that. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but somewhere that is similar. So maybe 3, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5 maybe might be acceptable depending on the experience. And looking for uniformity in that way. Now, it is very possible that, let's say a lot of the 3 judges can have 4, 4.5, and that one shot was just off, and the guy's giving it 2, but there has to be some reason for that and some level of ability for that competitor or that judge to defend that score. All right, so here's Emi's back, so let's go and see what she has to say.
I should have relaxed more, I think, but...
It's very difficult to do. It was, it came across as super relaxed. I saw you just before and caught your eye.
Super relaxed.
And you just kind of smiled and just seemed really content. Did it all go mostly according to plan? Are you happy?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, in a cup, that's what I hope. From looking, yes, I think, yes.
They look great. Really, really good. So the Swiss Championships were 2020?
That was 2020 February, just before the COVID. We managed to squeeze. In fact, it was a competition of mummy baristas. We were competing together.
I heard. Yeah, we're not going to tease Matteo too much.
No.
So you're hearing this is Dan Fellows.
Yeah.
So, World Brewers Cup Champion 2018.
Yeah.
How was the transition into barista?
I used to compete in barista. My very first time was 2015, and then right afterwards Matthew won, and I was supporting him. It's very different. I think Barista Championship is really close to a cafe everyday style that nothing goes as planned because you cannot plan everything. Everything is depending on other things, so you have to adapt. So I felt positively challenged again. Not that Brewers Cup is easy, no. It's a different type of championship, but I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
I need to bring you back to a quote, which I think you once said to me. You said something along the lines of, I do filter coffee, I don't do milk drinks.
When did I say that? Was it in China?
This was probably just after World Brewers Cup, but I think we were challenged. It was a latte art competition.
Ah, yeah, yes. Yeah. Very likely, yes.
They looked awesome.
Well, that was absolutely not my forte. That I should definitely train.
Those drinks looked beautiful. They looked incredibly shiny. You know,
this is Dale Harris from the United Kingdom, former World Barista Champion.
You just want to sip it, right?
Ah, nice. Cool. Lovely.
I want to ask a question.
Sure.
Mycelium.
Yeah, mycelium.
Yes, mycelium.
Yes, mycelium.
Tell us more. When did you fall in love with this? Was it after spending time thinking about Think and Go, or was it before that and you were finding a way to bring the connection in?
So actually at the farm, we were fortunate to meet Pocho at the farm in March, not knowing about the championship. This guy is a legend because he was talking to the plants, like he was turning the leaves back and checking And he was telling me that when we stepped into the farm, the ground was so soft, and it was a special sensation that I didn't have in the past. So I asked, like, why is it like this? And he was very happy that we asked. And then, long story short, he was following this philosophy. He was saying that his farm is never complete because it's ongoing. Every year he cannot, plan everything, because yes, he plans, but things happen. And he wants to understand how it happens. He's not doing, again, he just let it go. No, he tried to cope with. It's not a control. And that was inspiring. I've never met a producer like this. So I tried to understand what it's about from there. And then I heard this threats of fungus, mycelium. And then at the time I couldn't even pronounce it because it's like, my what? And then I got researched it, and I also watch videos, or books, or internet. And yes, it's a cooperation of a whole thing. And then afterwards, I started to talk with Pocho again, and he was following that path. And then I thought it's an interesting thing for me because I discovered it and I found it very interesting. And I was thinking, maybe I can share this because I find it fascinating.
I think we could all feel that delight and curiosity as you went on that journey. And I think for many of us, we saw this the first round, and you started talking, and we were like, what is this?
Yeah.
Where is this going? Will she make coffee? What will happen next?
Yeah.
And then by the end, it all comes together with the koji, and it feels that actually we've seen a whole new layer of a farm, but also as a metaphor for baristas and coffee and how we all connect together. And I think it was really beautiful and really complicated and simple at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, that was a risk, definitely. But no, I was just fascinated about the whole world of mycelium, but I didn't want to become a biology teacher. It should be just, something that is a nice piece of information that was like, okay, mycelium, like roots, okay. That would be enough in a different
like
way.
roots.
Yeah.
And becomes a lens that we can see this coffee through and just think about it a little differently before we taste it. I think, Matthew, how was coaching?
This is Matthew Thu,
competing
which
is difficult, right? It's this real challenge. But how was
Emi's
coaching?
husband
Because
and coach.
Emi has done this for you in the past. She has done all the hard work. So how is it to hold that burden?
I will never ask you for feedback anymore. So I asked Dale yesterday or the day before, hey, how was it? It was like, the intro, I didn't really like it. I didn't know where you guys are going with this. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. No, but that's the difficulty, right? It's, my coaching is really about giving my experience, but not putting, so you were saying it, when I asked you, I said, I didn't see you through Emi, where you could see Ben through me in Amsterdam. And I was like, that's exactly what I want. I want Emi, not me, because I'm not competing. At the same time, I want to give her good advice. So how do you balance this is not so good, do it differently, but just do it your way, but better, like something like this. So the introduction is the best example. We work so many introduction, nothing works. And at some point I say, Emi, just go like this, directly. Mycelium, go open. No talking, no welcome, no my name is Emi, they know who you are, it's okay, go for it.
I like that,
yeah,
that's a
we tried
great
a couple
idea.
times, it works. But it's very, how do you say, I feel very nervous, because maybe more than competing.
I really enjoy that both of them. They're traveling a lot to go to the farms and to see what happened there. So this is very important. And even if we have the lockdown, I have seen you that you visit Panama and also this farm. So for me, it was really, really happy because I know you and I feel the passion that you have. Even if we have a problem, you are trying to go there and to see what happened in the farm.
This is Michaela
So,
from Greece,
Thanks for the experience that you share with all the people, even for the video.
former
And,
World
they have
Coffee
to
and Good
know
Spirits.
that the baristas
Champion.
sometimes they are doing an extremely strange job to go there to see how the farmers work and what they will taste. They have done a lot of cuppings every day. They have done a lot of trainings every day. So thank you for sharing all this information.
And for bringing us on that journey, you know, because not all of us have been to farms for a long time. We've all been missing it, but through this, we really felt like we were there, that we were understanding and learning about Finca Go and what is happening there. It was great.
Wow.
I thought I really appreciated how you took your time with the espresso course. You can see where this is going, but I appreciated with, you know, the first sip you'll focus on the tropical notes, the second sip will change, and then the third will be more of the blood orange coming through. We would love to try. Do you have any coffee left?
Yay, it's the espressos.
Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Amazing,
Pleasure.
thank you.
All right, here we
So
go.
talk us through the development of flavor as the drink cools and changes.
So today you would have in 4 steps. First aroma, then 3 sips. Aroma would be jasmine and pineapple. So very nice, as let's say floral and tropical. It's not too powerful, but it's always there. I know you cannot smell sweetness, but it is nice sweetness. The first sip is tropical. Yes, today was, or let's say in general, what I really liked about this coffee was that it was very meaty. It's very kind of funny to say.
Meaty.
Like, you know, papaya, if you go to South South America, you have this big meaty papaya flesh. And that's what I always had, and I find it tasty in this coffee. And then the second sip, today it changed the acidity, which was nice because, yes, I'm a brewer. I like changing acidities. And yeah, red grape and strawberry. Mouthfeel gets lighter. And the last sip is a bit alcoholic. I think that's coming from the process. And this one is actually really coming from the bottom of the tank. That's
Yeah,
why
'cause
it's
you
really
said
rummy.
Rum and raisin in the final
Yes,
sip, right?
exactly.
One of my
Exactly.
favorites.
Yes. Who
So did
doesn't
you
like
use
it?
the same coffee?
All
for
the
this-
way, yes.
Obviously course by course, but did you use it in the... Oh,
Here.
that was underwhelming. In the national championships, did you use the same coffee?
No, at the national,
Rum and
I
raisin.
had a different coffee that I was serving in the shop. And then we wanted to go to Panama last year, but then of course we couldn't go. And a year later, in March, that's where I could go finally. And yeah, I mean, when we got to know that there's a championship, we were like, oh, which coffee shall we take? Yeah.
That's another question. So you've had quite a long time to think about this and prepare, but obviously a pandemic in the meantime.
No, so because we didn't know when the world was, and we have a small business, roastery and a coffee shop. To be honest, right after championship, we were not thinking about anything else but try to save a business that, you know, has 10 baristas inside plus ourselves.
I think the amazing thing about Mame, and I've not visited yet, is that you do serve exceptional coffees like this on a daily basis, more or less. So you're not afraid of serving expensive coffees
No,
to... And what's
As
the
you
best kind of
shouldn't
coffee?
be.
the best coffee is the coffee you like.
Exactly.
Yay!
How do your customers find coffees that are a little more complex?
Well,
Yes.
so when somebody wants to talk nothing, I don't also ask anything. And then I would serve beautiful chocolatey coffees that is not stressing them. And over time, when they trust me, maybe I give them something new, you know? So I say, hey, would you like to try something? And they say, oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, I love
Then-
that. I love that, Emi. We're
I
very
would start
simpatico in
something
that
fruity,
respect.
But then it's a process. Or even somebody wants something new, they already tell me. So here you go.
Thank you.
And please stir before you drink 3 times, and then enjoy the aroma also. Oh, sorry, here you go, for you. enjoy Mathieu. I want to drink water. First, quite citric.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, and then you keep a little bit, like 1 moment. Second sip, it gets it gets satiric. I love the change. It's really, really nice. Really nice.
And whilst we're enjoying these, I just want to say, both in your routine and just then, it's so amazing to see you working the grinder and working on the machine, but still totally engaged with us and sharing that experience without even... It feels like being in a shop, but just a really special...
That's super nice.
A really
super
special
nice.
shop.
Yeah.
It takes
Really
some skill.
strange customers.
Well,
Asking weird
it's,
questions.
But do your customers ask questions at the bar of you and your baristas? You know, that
Sure. I mean, our baristas, they're all capable and they're lovely, they're chatty, they have their fans, like, you know. And then I think it's very important that we enjoy creating that moment to celebrate those coffees. I think coffee alone won't be enjoyed as much. So it's our job.
You're crafting something more than just a cup of coffee,
exactly.
right? And you're in control of them to a degree.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's nice to guide them instead of force them or educate them. In the end, they're no customers. They are coming to pay, and then, you know, I wouldn't teach them anything.
Yeah.
No.
Do you know what I love about this is it's not afraid of acidity. We have
No.
incredible fruit flavors. They're
Yeah.
changing, but this is what this coffee should be, right? And
absolutely.
it's balanced with the sweetness, but that
Yeah.
doesn't dominate. It doesn't hide anything.
Yeah. It's difficult. But when you get it, I think it's a celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emi, one of the lines you spoke about the synergy between Pocho Gallardo and nature, and Matthew's talking about the potential lack of human structure
Right.
to where the trees are. Do you want to talk about that relationship between the trees, nature, and how they
Sure. So Pocho, first time they're demonstrating, also furthermore a little bit of research. So basically, when you have a farm, well, when you have a forest with the trees like Pocho, the big trees getting photosynthesis and giving sugar because, you know, they're large, and coffee itself knows by time that they can have sugar from them. But then at the same time, because they have these nutrients that the coffee doesn't get, but they have grasses, and the grasses need sugar, so they eventually talk, saying, I'm a dandelion grass, I have this, but I need sugar, can we trade? And then coffee says, yes, I need them, so I give you sugar. Hey tree, give me your sugar because I have this food, and then it's, yeah. Yes, so Pocho has that set up, including fruit trees as well. That's where I got an idea of taking these fruits for, are you okay? Yeah, fruits for ingredients.
You are not competing anymore. Relax.
It's like a, no, you want them some
You
water?
can't help it. You can't help it. Can't help
We're
it.
running towards the end of our interview, although it's, again, I could go all day. You must have some people you'd like
Yeah,
to
Dan,
thank.
keep going with it.
Well, the biggest thanks goes to Mathieu. I think without Mathieu, I'm not here. I'm totally not. I think.
Oh, Mathieu.
Yes, of course.
Mathieu's her
then
husband
obviously all
and
the
coach
people who are supporting
and business
me,
partner.
And my baristas back in Zurich, because without them, I'm not here again. Business has to run. Yeah. And obviously, yes, Pocho, not forgetting, for great coffee.
Amazing. Well, once again, big round of applause for the Barista Champion of Switzerland, Emi Fukahori.
All right, Emi Fukahori. So that was Emi Fukahori.
Well, thank you very much.
This is one of the
everybody.
best times that you get at the competition because you don't really have a lot of. Oops. Let's move away.
In between 5:30, and then we will crown the 2020.
Okay, so 5:30 Milan time, which is about an hour and a. Well, with all their announcements and sponsored discussion, it'll probably be closer to 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock. So about an hour and 15 minutes or so from now, we'll have the finals announcements, and we'll see who finally won. So we've got a series of great competitors who are competing today. Of course, we just watched Emi Fukahori with the. we just watched Emi Fukahori with her presentation using, gosh, you know what? I don't even remember the coffee she was using. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Let me see here. So we had Diego Campos from Colombia, who was one of the competitors. Wojciech Teisler from Iceland. Hugh Kelly from Australia. Andrea Allen from the United States. Martin Shabaya from Kenya. And, of course, Emi Fukahori from Switzerland. Those were the 6 finalists today. Evidently, from what I've been told, 3 of them were using the CU Genioids coffee. And, yeah, really an interesting time. I only got to see Andrea Allen and Emi Fukahori's performances. We saw Emi here on the show and heard a little bit from Andrea at the very beginning of the show. And again, we started a little bit early. But if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, it's nice to be able to watch this and really hear from the competitors themselves, because, you know, when you're typically involved or watching the competition, you don't really get to have that much insight into what the competitors are doing, what they're thinking, what they're trying to present. And, you know, it's a really great chance to just hear them. And I think it's really, really wonderful to get their background. And I think Emi has a lot of really great things to say. Some of the things I think she said in her post interview was, you know, she was talking about this mycelium network. And for me, the mycelium was kind of funny because, you know, if you're a Star Trek Discovery fan, and the mycelium network is something that's a big component of Star Trek Discovery. So it's kind of fun to listen to that. But what she said in the post interview was that she wanted to use the mycelium as kind of like a bridge, but she didn't want to be a science teacher. And I think that's a really important point, is that sometimes baristas really get into, they're so excited about certain technical details of coffee that when they're either in front of a judge or, more importantly, in front of their guest in their shop, they're talking so much about this that they're passionate about, when really the guest just wants to have a coffee. And, you know, as she was talking, you know, and Emi owns a company called Maine Coffee in Switzerland. I'm not sure exactly where, but her and her husband Matthew own this place. And like she said, sometimes people come in and they don't want to talk, so she doesn't really talk to them. And I think that's a great point, that as a barista, you have to feel out what's going on with your guest. Some guests come in and you probably couldn't talk enough about coffee. Well, those guys are few and far between. Whereas a lot of people, they just want a coffee. They don't necessarily need to have all the preamble. They don't necessarily need to know the farm and the processing, the altitude. They don't care about that. They just care that it's good and that they're getting good value for their money. And, you know, what I like about Emi, she's willing to serve high quality coffees at high prices, you know, not necessarily high prices, but prices commendable, or prices commensurate with what she's serving. And I think that's really great. And everything, a lot of her philosophies I find myself very much in line with, and what we teach at Spro. And so more power to you, Emi. I hope you do very well. If you win, I'm going to be very happy. So really my 2 favorites for this are Martin Shabaya from Kenya and Emi, who we just watched in Switzerland. They're kind of my favorites. I've known Emi for a few years, and so she's really a great personality, a great person, and a really great barista. And Martin, I don't know Martin very well. I just know of him, and I'm glad that he made it. And I'm really happy to see, you know, we're always excited to see origin competitors, you know, competitors that come from origin countries, to be in the finals, to be on the world stage, but just to be in the finals is really amazing. So I'm hoping that Martin can do very well. And, you know, but the reality is that at the end of the day, and this is what I tell my judges at different competitions, and prior to every competition that we run, we always have competitors meetings. And, you know, and as I look across the room of the competitors that are there for our competitors meeting, you know, they're all very hopeful. They're all very excited. You know, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be the champion. And I get that. But I try to, you know, tell them, you know, the reality is that at the end of the day, there'll only be one person truly happy. And so at this World Championship, there were 38 competitors from around the world, which is a very small field because typically there's over 50. But with the pandemic and everything that's going on in the world, of course, there's less. There's even a lesser amount of judges that are there. So there were 38 competitors from 38 different countries. And, you know, if you're thinking of on a numbers and ratios, you got a 1 in 38 chance of winning. So you have the highest chance of winning ever in for the last at least 10 years. So they started with 38 and for the open round. And now everybody that comes to the World Championship is already a champion. They've already won their national championship. So they have campaigned and fought and battled their way through, you know, and beaten disappointment, right? Actually, to be honest, there's a couple people that are, I think there's a couple competitors that are here or that are at Milan that were the alternates. So they were probably the second place. And the first place competitor, the champion, was unable to attend for a variety of reasons. Now it could be pandemic related. Typically, a lot of the competitors are not able to attend because they hold the competition in places like the United States, where we have very, very restrictive immigration laws. You know, so we as the United States as a nation do not like to grant visas to people from developing nations that are not of a certain level of means. A variety of reasons for that. So a lot of times when we come to the United States, there are a lot of competitors that are unable to attend because the United States won't allow them in, which is one of the reasons why I'm typically against bringing the World Barista Championship to the United States, because it's just, you know, one of those things where, you know, we're such a restrictive nation that why should we go here? We should go to nations that are easier for the competitors to attend, to participate in, you know. Anyway, that's a little bit different, but I'm all for keeping the World Barista Championship out of the United States because of that reason. And so they come in and they've battled their way through their national championships and taken the crown, and now have come to the World Championship. And you know, and it's difficult for everyone because they've won, they're champions, and now they're going to lose. That's a tough one to, you know. I hope, you know, there's always going to be disappointment, but I hope that it's a learning experience for them so that they come back again and try again for the next year, because you can come and compete at the World Championship. If you battle your way through your national championship and win, you can repeat the pursuit of the world crown as much as you can. The only time that you can no longer compete is once you become the World Barista Champion. You may not compete after that. So you've already got the crown. There will be no second time. But that's all right. And so on the other side of things, you know, the judges, because of the pandemic, a lot of the judges that I work with, and I know that they just weren't able to go as well because, you know, pandemic. So if you're a judge and you were there and you wanted to judge in the finals or, you know, get some higher judging responsibilities, this was your chance as well. So it's, for those who went, there's a lot of opportunity to be made. The rest of us were just sitting at home watching, having a good time. So yeah. It's been interesting. What else is there to talk about for you today? So if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below. If you're just joining us on the replay, thank you very much for joining. If you have any questions about the competition or about coffee in general, drop them in the comments. We'll answer them the next time we come around. We've been watching the World Barista Championship happening live in Milan, Italy. We really only got to watch Emi Fukahori from Switzerland, who was the final competitor for today. Mainly because, you know, here on the East Coast of the United States, we are 6 hours behind Milan. So they started at, I think, 9 o'clock in the morning there, which is 3 a.m. here. So we didn't get to catch any of that stuff. But it will be available at some point in time on replays with the World Barista Championship, probably on their YouTube channel, World Barista Championship on YouTube. So you can catch that there. And, yeah. So we're just kind of hanging out. We're drinking the Helsar de Zarcero from Costa Rica, one of our favorite coffees. Enjoying the championship. Okay, so we talked about anything else I wanted to touch base with you guys on. So we've got the competitors, and so we've got I don't know. So the competitors will have done their thing, and they're going to be continuing on. Now's the time when everybody's just kind of chilling out. A lot of the judges right now are probably still in deliberation, making sure that they have the right scoring, that everything's even, everything's the way that it should be. Meaning that, like I said earlier, the head judge is talking to the judges to see, are their scores indicative of the experience that they had, right? So, we want to have scoring that is reflective of the experience, right? So, like I said, the competitor, the head judge is tasting all the competitor drinks after the sensory judges have tasted their first taste. So the head judge typically has a good idea of where that scoring should be. And the bigger thing is that because the head judge is tasting all 4 drinks, the head judge typically has a better idea of how they all play, together. And it's not really about necessarily the head judge changing scores. It's really about the head judge asking questions. So a lot of times when I'm head judge and I look at the scoring and I think that maybe one of the judges, maybe outside of where they perhaps should be, I'll ask them questions about, so tell me about that score. What was your perception? And depending on their response, that may be perfectly justified. So it's always about questioning, asking, can the judge defend their position? That's really the big question. Because at the end of the day, there's only one person that's going to be happy, truly happy, right? Everybody else is going to be disappointed, and everyone else is going to want to know why they didn't win. That's really it. Why? What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? And at the end of the competition, each of the competitors has the opportunity to review their score sheets and speak with the judges themselves, right? So as a judge, or as a head judge, as a head judges, we want our judges to be in the best possible position to discuss the scoring with the competitors. So if you're giving a 4, which is very good, you need to be, okay, so as a person, you may think, oh, very good is a good score, right? But the competitor only wants to know, why wasn't it 5? Well, the question really is, why wasn't it 6, which is the top score, right? The competitor wants to know, well, why wasn't that 6? What did I do wrong? You as a judge have to be able to explain to them why this score you gave was not a 6. And I think if you could do that, you're in a good position. And that's, as a head judge, that's what we want all of our judges to be in a position of being able to defend their scores, able to explain why they gave what they gave. Because especially, one of the things we push on the judges, and at the world level, it's really not much of a big deal. At the national level, because we've got so many more judges with varying levels of experience, one of the big things is really trying to get the judges to make sure that they are taking enough notes on the score sheet to guide them. So ideally, we try to tell the judges, hey, you need to have enough notes on your score sheet so that even if you're not there, that competitor can look and see, okay, let's say, remember Emi's performance, right? Emi had this performance where she was talking about, she gave all these different flavor notes for the first sip, second sip, and then finish. Ideally, she's giving you the opportunity to write those down. So you write those down, rum, raisin, everything else that she said. And as you're tasting, you can then just use a tick mark. I catch this, or an X, I did not get this. And that's a relatively simple way of doing it. And if the judge and the competitor looks at that shit, so Emi can like look at that and say, okay, so I hit this, I did not hit this. And it's like, oh man, okay, now I understand why. Now, if you don't take any notes, or if you don't take enough notes, then not only can the competitor not understand why, but later, and we're talking now, especially if you're talking to a competitor in the original rounds, the first rounds, let's say the competitor from the first day, now you're 3 days past, or even longer, competitor comes to you with the score sheet and says, well, tell me about this. And if you don't have enough notes, if you didn't take the correct amount of notes, maybe you have no idea either why you give that score. And that is really just not an acceptable way to go. So when we're training judges, we're always trying to push on them to take notes, and be able to offer that. So that's the real thing that we're doing in the deliberation room, which was why it usually takes a while. So during the finals, it's exacerbated because, there's only one set of judges because we want all 6 finalists to have consistent judging with the same judges, right? So that they can, be consistent. Whereas, during the open rounds and semifinals round, we have multiple teams of judges that are judging everybody. And so it allows us to do 15 to 20 competitors a day because we have 3 different stations and do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in succession without any breaks. Whereas in the finals, we finally get to the finals, we have 6 competitors, and there's always about maybe like half an hour or more between each competitor because it takes time to deliberate. So that's pretty much that. All right, so we're going to sign off now. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know it's only 10:30 and typically halfway through our normal time, but we did start, at 9 o'clock today. So we've been on here for 90 minutes now. Really enjoying the talk with you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Let me know. We'll be live streaming again, talking about the next stuff next week on Tuesday. So tune in Tuesday morning, coffee and question and answer as always. So hope to see you then. Until next time, have a great week. And